970 WOCA.
WOCA.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Monday morning. I have been looking forward to this next interview for a while because I like this kind of chat. The kind of chat I'm talking about is, you know, when somebody kind of stops for a moment and says, you know, the world is a little bit messed up, and you know, I just don't want to be part of that messed up world. And maybe my world is messed up. There's that Michael Jackson song, "The Man in the Mirror," or I mean, numerous other references in literature of people who've come to recognize that, you know, the world starts with me. There was that song with "The World Needs Now." I want the world, whatever it says, and starts with me. It's a Christmas song, I think. Anyway, I messed up on trying to use it as a reference.
Can't remember the exact words.
I've often thought that. I mean, you look at the news, everything's going. I remember when, well, if you don't mind me bringing in something personal from a long time ago, so it doesn't really smart anymore. But when I went through my divorce, prior to it, I was, I guess, a news junkie. I mean, I'd watch CNN all the time or whatever happened to be available, and this was 20, 30 years ago. No, 20, so whatever it was, 25. And when it was all happening to me, it was like, wow, I paid attention to all this news all over the world, and none of it really affects me.
Yeah.
You know, my own world. This is why when we do the news, I often say, you know, this is the news from the world, but you got your own news to worry about too in your own life, right? If there was a way to change the world, I would love to do it. I'd love to know about it, but maybe the best bet is to change our own world. Dr. Dain Heer is on the phone. He's an inspirational speaker. He is the developer of something called the energetic synthesis of being. He's a facilitator of advanced workshops, and he's written a book. It's called Being You, Changing the World, and then the subtitle is a question: Is now the time? That's a great subtitle. Great question. Dr. Dain Heer. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, guys. Great to be with you. How you doing today?
Good. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
Houston, currently.
All right. Was I on target at all, or was I totally off base? Are you going to talk about like moon landings or something?
Exactly. Actually, no, you were right on target. And, you know, basically it's about, you know, when you truly get to be you, whatever that actually is for you, I think you truly create a different possibility for the world, but you also change your life for the better in the meantime. You know, there are a lot of people who look out there and go, wait a minute, something needs to change in the world I'm living in, but it really does start with us. I just think most of us have never had the tools to make it happen.
And by tool, we never had the tools to make it happen. Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, just one small example is one of the things that I've learned to do is actually, and one of the tools I give people is to start asking questions for everything that occurs. Most of us, when something happens, we have an automatic conclusion that we go to. Like, let's say, you know, you get a bill that's way bigger than you thought. You go to the freak out of, oh my God, rather than asking a question like, how does it get any better than this? Or what else is possible here, which opens up different doorways.
How does it get any better? It's a big bill. Well, you know, I knew a guy one time who said that everything happens because we want it to happen. And I said, really? I mean, I was in a car crash. I don't think I wanted that to happen. And he said, well, and he went very philosophical on me, and I don't know that I bought it. But is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's because you want it to happen. I'd say it's because we've made choices, because our choices that we make today create our lives in the future. And we make choices that sort of set up these probabilities of what can occur in our lives, and most of us, rather than actually consciously sitting down and going, hey, here's the life I'd like to have, we sort of let life control us. But the people who do sit down and go, no, here's the life I'd like to have, they actually find the way to create it. So I think it's a lot of the choices from the past that end up sticking us and creating these things that occur in the future.
Oh, and we so many of us who've had any years on us at all, I mean, we can look back and say, you know, I decided to take that fork in the road, and had I not, I would have been here maybe instead of there.
Yeah.
That's an easy one to see, but then there's the news we get caught up in that maybe we have no control over, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things. You mentioned watching CNN and all kinds of sources, about news about the world, and I think what most people tend to do is they tend to focus on the world outside of them, as though it's like they don't really want to dive deep. And I think there are people who do, sort of the seekers of the world, people who've been looking for something different. And I wrote the book for them. I didn't write it for the average couch potato who just wants to sit there and drink beer all day, It's like I wrote it for the seekers of the world, the people that have been looking for something different. Nobody's ever said, hey, here's a way of actually creating it in your life now.
Yeah, I like that. It's very Tony Robbins-esque, I guess. I mean, he was always the guy who said, get out and if you want to take that vacation to Hawaii, go ahead and figure out a way to do it.
Well, yeah, and that I love about, what Tony Robbins said and did, but I tried doing it the Tony Robbins way of setting goals and achieving them and taking steps, and I was a dismal failure at it. And
Me too.
So this is a different approach. It's an approach for the people that would love to be able to set goals, but unfortunately don't seem to be able to do that very well.
But you had to overcome obstacles from a very young age, from the age of 5. And how you developed into the person you are helping others is really a phenomenon in itself.
Thank you. Well, I did. I grew up and I had, I experienced what people would call horrendous abuse and, had many situations in my life that were really challenging. And for a long time, they defined me. And what I found about 14 years ago, after getting to the place where I was literally going to kill myself if things didn't change, I found a way out, basically, and I was introduced to something called access consciousness that actually started taking the abuse out of being the basis of my life, and what I couldn't do as the basis, and actually what I could do started becoming the basis. And once again, it's really, really practical stuff.
That is wonderful. Yeah, I grasp what you're saying. I was reading a little bit before we went on the air about the access consciousness philosophy, so that's kind of where I do want to focus on once we get there. And I guess we're there right now. We're just almost at a break, though, so I guess one of the things I wanted to say is that when you said something interesting. You said that abuse could have defined you, and maybe was defining you until you decided to reject that. That's a very profound statement because I mean, how many authors have we had on, Robin, who were women who were sexually abused when they were kids, and then it did define them until they decided to not let it define them anymore.
Yeah.
And then there's you might say a different way that the same thing happens. Somebody we live in a retirement community for the most part, and a lot of the folks who've left their jobs that they had for 30 or 40 years were defined by that job, and suddenly they don't have that definition anymore of themselves, and that's often psychologically crushing to them. And I've often thought it's not as bad as abuse, obviously, but it's still is something you need to get past. You can't let something like that define you.
Absolutely, and I think that's the presentation or the possibility here is whatever it's been that's been limiting or defining you, there is a way out. There is a way beyond it, and it's probably far easier than you ever thought it could be.
So I'm guessing your work as a chiropractor. I mean, you could have easily been a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
Truly, yes. And I think I went to chiropractic because it was sort of on the lunatic fringe, the fringe of possibility where it wouldn't put me into the box of everything I couldn't do. It would actually open up the possibilities for what I could do with people.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm sure that you can relate more to the clients who've had some kind of an abuse early in their lives because of your history.
Yeah, very much so. And I've seen people literally transform their whole relationship, their entire lives based on using sort of updated information rather than the idea that abuse is a wrongness and you're a victim. Let me show you how. This is, if you survived it and are still here looking for something different, you're definitely not a victim. Let's show you that.
We've kind of done the surface level part of this interview, so we'll take a little break and then we'll get deeper and listen to more from Dr. Dain Heer. Am I saying your name correctly, Doctor?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the book is called Being You, Changing the World, or Being You, Changing the World Processing. Am I saying that right? A handbook for generating infinite possibilities and dynamic change. We'll continue our conversation when we come back. Looking forward to the in-depth part of this. So far, surface level, right? We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. Thank you.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today, but watch out for a shower or thunderstorm during the afternoon and evening hours, high 90 to 94. And partly cloudy tonight, low 74 to 78. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 88 to 92. Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sun, still a couple of showers and a thunderstorm likely, the high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Who would you feed if you had 50 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A? WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall have teamed up to reward one organization with 50 chicken sandwiches as a way of saying thanks for the great work that organization is doing in our community. And we need your help. See, there are so many great people doing great things that we need nominations. You can nominate your own organization or any organization you choose. Simply send an email to WOCA@WOCA.com. And in 350 words or less, tell us why the organization you are nominating should receive 50 free chicken sandwiches from WOCA and Chick-fil-A at the Paddock Mall. We'll review your nominations and then select one deserving organization each month. We'll announce the winner and even read the winning entry on the air. Make sure to include the contact name and phone number of the organization that you are nominating. And thanks from your friends at WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall.
Are you a mom looking for inspiration? Are you creative? Mamazine.com is a lifestyle blog designed for the local mom to be inspired by the beauty of motherhood while staying current on local events and issues. Visit Mamazine.com today to find events around town, recipes, imaginative play ideas, and more. Mamazine.com.
Yeehaw! Howdy, folks. RL here to invite you to DQ. Dairy Queen is serving the crispiest, juiciest, most tasty chicken tenders, all beef chili dogs, and quarter-pound cheeseburgers on earth. And you get crispy fries, a drink, and an ice cream sundae of your choice for only $5. Remember, at DQ, you can lick their cones, but you can't beat their shakes. Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
All right, thank you. 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's continue with our conversation. This is fascinating stuff. If you've ever known anybody who transformed himself or herself, not just physically, we've known people who changed their physique. They lost weight or they gained muscle or something. And but a lot of those same people who did that did more than that. There's a lot of people I've known, or maybe not a lot, that might be inaccurate, but there are many. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Dr. Dain Heer is our guest. In his book is called Being You, Changing the World. Dr. Heer, thank you so much for wading through that. So does the book, it's described as a workshop book, is that right? Or is that what the work you do is?
Basically, the work that I do is primarily in workshops, also working with people one-on-one, but I call it a handbook, and for creating dynamic possibilities, and change. And basically, there's a lot of tools in the book, because one of the things that I was missing 14 years ago when I was on the verge of literally killing myself was the tools to change it. I was a seeker, like I talked about earlier, and I tried everything I could, and it would work for about 3 days and then stop. And with the tools of Access Consciousness, I found that the change just keeps going. You don't have that stop that I used to get.
What's the difference between what you tried to do and what you finally found that worked?
Well, I think most of what's out there sort of focuses on the answer and do it this way because this is the answer. And what the tools in this book are about is actually functioning from the question, or they were created initially from asking questions such as, what's it really going to take to change this? And if I started from scratch right now, if I didn't have to take any of the points of view that are out there, either psychologically or self-help-wise or in any other way, what would it really take to change this situation? And that's where all of these tools were created from, basically created from scratch, looking at what truly created change.
Do you think self-talk affects us positively and or negatively?
I would say what I've seen is I've seen the self-talk that most of us deliver at ourselves affect us primarily negatively, because our self-talk usually isn't, wow, I'm looking even better than I thought I was today. You know?
Yeah, right.
Or I feel even better than I thought. And one of the interesting things, one of the tools that people can use is this. One of the things that I found is that 98% of your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions are actually things you're picking up from other people, like a big psychic radio receiver. And if you'll ask, who does this belong to? To the thought, the feeling, the emotion, the judgment, whatever it is that's weighing you down. If it lightens up at all, it's actually not yours. All you have to do is return it to sender, wherever it came from. And you'll start to get free of about 98% of the stuff that's in your head.
Wow. All those people are sending back my thoughts. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's one of the other things that you stress is that you want everybody to be their own self, their own person, because Larry always says that everybody should just follow their own. Nobody should be a follower, and nobody should be a leader only to your own self. And that's what you're saying, that you just want to make people aware of everything that they can do for their own lives, but you don't want any followers.
Absolutely. And I love that, Larry has that point of view and that awareness. The founder of Access Consciousness, my business partner, his name is Gary Douglas, and he said, you know what? I'll know we're really a success when everybody on the planet is using these tools and nobody knows our names. And I went, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that is. Well, are you old enough, or do you remember reading the Jonathan Livingston Seagull tiny little book?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And in that one, Jonathan was seeking perfection in flight, in speed and flight, and suddenly he was so perfect at it that everybody was worshiping him. And he said, no, this is not what I want. I want you to do this too. I want you to find your own perfection.
Yes. It reminds me of the line, or the part in The Life of Brian where he says, you were individuals, and they all shout back in unison, we are individuals.
Oh, I forgot about that. That is funny. Well, isn't that true, though? Comedians will sometimes be dead on with pinpointing something like that. Wow, that's cool. So what do you do? I want to know a little bit more about you. You said you were suicidal.
Yeah.
Gosh, the world would have been so worse off. So I've often thought that, like, for example, when people talk about what do you call it, euthanasia, when you're at the end of your life. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about everybody. I know everybody's got their own beliefs on this, but just for the sake of this conversation, I've often thought, well, if I've got one breath left, I can say I love you. Just one breath. If you take that one breath away, then that one person won't hear that one little 3-word thing that they might have needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And there's a certain point, I think, where you can actually embrace that and recognize that. And I think so many of us in the world have gone through such difficult times at certain points that we, may have to get to the place where we think we want to give up, and I'm with you on that. I would... having seen what I've seen in the last 14 years transform and change, I know that change is possible on a dynamic level. I just think there are certain times where people may need to get to what they consider the bottom before they're actually able to rise out of the ashes, so to speak.
You know what's interesting? I mean, your book is called Being You, Changing the World, and I just wanted to say something real quickly, an observation, and I'll use famous people for this, although I've seen it with not famous. Jimmy Fallon, who recently took over The Tonight Show, when he first appeared, I think it was on The Tonight Show. I guess it was with Johnny Carson. Maybe Jay Leno. I don't know who he was on. But he was clearly acting like Adam Sandler. I mean, you watch Jimmy Fallon, those early things, and he was not himself. He was Adam Sandler. Look at some musicians, and they start their bands, and they say, oh, my goodness, that's so much like... And then you can name another band that they sound like, or another musician that they sound like. And then they become themselves, and they're so much better when they become themselves.
So true. Absolutely. And you, if you would apply that to, a woman being a mother, for example, or somebody in their business, when they apply what is uniquely them, to whatever it is, whether it's parenting, business, creativity, art, it's like becomes dynamically more brilliant. Us trying to mimic somebody else is really a travesty, because we sort of have to cut off our own arms and our own legs to try to be like somebody else. It doesn't work very well.
Right.
It's not a gift to the world.
And you stress compassion and kindness, but you make sure to let people know that they shouldn't let go of the levity in their life.
Absolutely. Laughter creates far more change than tears. Plus, it's a lot more fun. It's like, what's wrong about this? So it becomes about, actually, if you're truly choosing from the life you would like to create, you start to have more lightness. Even in the term enlightenment, light is right in the middle of the word, but so many people seeking it are some of the heaviest people you'll find. That never made sense to me.
Gosh.
Oh, interesting. Well, you're a deep thinker. So for the person out there who has always said, I really would like to transform my body. I would really like to transform the amount of money I make. I'd really like to just transform my attitude. All those things are possible, and you've created a technique to do that, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I actually there's a website called beingyouclass.com. It's beingyouclass.com, and there's a free video series that I created, and it is free. There's no, I just need your email to send it to you. But it's based on the tools that I got when I started doing this work 14 years ago, sort of the beginning basics of about 10 different tools that if you start instituting them, will truly start creating change, and then you'll know change is possible, and then it becomes exciting to be alive again. Because it's not fun to be alive when you don't think you can change what it is you want to change in your life.
As a chiropractor, I'm just curious about something, and you hear this now and then. Your chiropractor or somebody will have his hands on your back or whatever. Oh, you're all tensed up. What's going on in your life? It's like, wow, what you're saying to me is my money problems are showing up in my back. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly the way it works. And the thing is, when you get to this sense of, okay, wait a minute, this may be going on right now, but I can change this. And that question that I suggested you ask earlier, how does it get any better than this, starts to open the door, whether something bad is happening and you want it to get better, or when something good happens and you want it to get even better, you just want to go, how does it get any better than this, and see what starts changing in your day.
Oh, I like that. It's kind of like an attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if somebody was stress-free, I think Mother Teresa probably would be an example. I mean, you, as a chiropractor, you put your hands on her back and go, oh, geez, she's fine.
Yeah.
No adjustment needed, Mother.
You're like, I know. Hello, angel. Thanks for walking on the planet with me.
Yeah, right.
When you see children being cruel to each other, I'm talking about elementary age or middle school children, how do you handle something like that to try to let them know that's not healthy for them or the person that they're picking on?
Well, actually, what I found when kids do it like that is 99% of the time they're getting it at home in one form or another, and that's the way they've learned to interact with people. And so what I talk to them about is unbuying their parents' points of view that they think they have to sort of perpetrate and take into the world to be a representative of their parents. And it's amazing to see this start changing in the world. Of course, they've got to want to change it. Even as kids, got to want to change it.
Yeah,
or be willing to.
Because we're all mini-me's until we decide to be mini ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Or big ourselves. You've got half of your handsome face on the cover of your book, it looks like. I don't see the book. I see a picture of the book. So.
Yeah, or 3/4, you know, some part.
Or 1/4, yeah. I don't see the top
part
of
that ugly mug is on there.
No, you're a handsome guy.
Thank you.
Unless the part I don't see is just hideous, you look pretty good.
Like the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, your picture is very thoughtful. You look like you're in deep thought.
Doctor, give us again the website you told us about and information on how to get the book.
Okay, it's called beingyouclass.com is the website, beingyouclass.com.
Okay.
And how to get the book, you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any of the usual suspects, and find it there. And depending on, certain places it's actually in real physical stores also in certain places around the world. So,
Well, if the story ever happens to you where you meet some angels and they show you what life would have been like had you not lived here, I'm sure that moment when you might have committed suicide will clearly show you that it's a good thing for all of us that you didn't. So thank you for doing what you're doing. And you've got lots of books. It says here 9 books. Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Dr. Dain Heer, Dainheer is how you spell his name. Go to our guest list and you'll see the spelling and also the website information. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you both.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pam Puso. More airstrikes and rockets out of Israel and Gaza despite calls by the UN for an immediate ceasefire.
Israel hit at least 3 targets in Gaza, saying it was responding to an early morning rocket attack. Gaza health officials say at least 2 people have been killed today by tank shelling, including a 4-year-old boy.
Fox News Radio's Kimberly Adams monitoring from Cairo. It's still too dangerous for international investigators trying to visit the site of a downed Malaysian Airlines jet in eastern Ukraine.
They've just had to abandon a second attempt to reach the crash site, with fighting close by between Ukraine's military and pro-Russian rebels.
Fox News Radio's Simon Owen. Neighbors are stunned after a family of 5 in Saco, Maine is found shot to death.
I love those children like they were my own.
Police are investigating a possible murder-suicide. Fox News, we report, you decide.
When cologne is on sale for $3.49 a quart, you don't stock up. When scented bubble bath is on sale for $3.49 a quart, you definitely don't stock up. But now that Napa has Castrol GTX oil on sale for $3.49 a quart, you stock up your garage, your shed, maybe even your bathroom cabinets. Conquer the job with Napa Know-How. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 7/31/14.
Summer is here, and nothing looks better than tan skin and white teeth. And if you want to have whiter teeth in 5 minutes, then try clinically proven Power Swabs. Power Swabs whitens teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days. Call to whiten your teeth in 5 minutes, risk-free. 1-800-663-5922. That's 1-800-663-5922. 1-800-663-5922.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today, but watch out for a shower or thunderstorm during the afternoon and evening hours, high 90 to 94. And partly cloudy tonight, low 74 to 78. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around, high 88 to 92. Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sun, still a couple of showers and a thunderstorm likely, the high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information. Must act by 1/15/14.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
The Paddock Mall is announcing that in anticipation of a strong tax-free shopping weekend, they will be extending their mall operating hours from August 1st through August 3rd, and the Paddock Mall will be open to shoppers 1 hour early on those days. The mall hours will be 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. on August 1st and August 2nd, and on Sunday, August 3rd from 11 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. This announcement courtesy of your friends right here at The Source, WOCA.
It's rodeo time in Florida. The 32nd annual Ocala Shrine Rodeo returns with the best of man, muscle, and a stampede of horsepower. August 29th.